You feel everything, and I mean everything. You walk into a room and instantly absorb the tension, the anxiety, the unspoken pain. You've become everyone's emotional sanctuary, the person they call at 2 a.m., the one who always understands, the perpetual fixer. But here's the truth nobody's telling you. You weren't born this way. You were trained. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's a survival mechanism you developed in childhood, and it's destroying you. Today, we're breaking down exactly how you became the emotional sponge, and more importantly, how to transform into something far more powerful, a lighthouse. Aware, compassionate, but no longer drowning in everyone else's storms. If you're exhausted from feeling everything, this video will change your life. Let's begin. Let's start by naming what you already know in your bones. You're the person everyone comes to when they're breaking. Your phone lights up with crisis texts. Your inbox is full of other people's problems. Family members unload on you. Friends trauma dump without asking if you have the capacity. Coworkers vent endlessly while you nod and absorb. And you do it. Every time. Because somehow, you can't not do it. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. You don't just hear people's pain. You feel it. Like it's yours. Their anxiety becomes your anxiety. Their sadness sinks into your chest. Their anger buzzes under your skin. You walk away from conversations physically exhausted, even though you barely spoke. This isn't normal empathy. This is something else entirely. Normal empathy says, I understand you're in pain. Your version says, your pain is now my pain, and I must fix it or I'll drown in it. See the difference? You've become an emotional sponge, absorbing everything. Everyone's feelings saturate you until there's no room left for your own. And the worst part, nobody notices what it costs you. They think you're just being nice. They call you such a good friend or so understanding. They have no idea that after they hang up feeling lighter, you're lying in bed at 2 a.m. carrying the weight of their entire life. You've probably asked yourself, why am I like this? Why can't I just not care so much? You might have even wondered if something's wrong with you. If you're too sensitive, too emotional, too much. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't a personality flaw. This isn't some cosmic mistake in your design. You were trained to be this way. Every sensitive soul has an origin story. And it almost always begins in childhood, in a home where your emotional radar wasn't just helpful, it was required for survival. Let me show you how this happened. Close your eyes for a moment and think back to your childhood home. What do you remember about the emotional atmosphere? For most sensitive souls, you'll find one of three patterns. Pattern 1, the volatile home. Maybe you grew up walking on eggshells. Mom's mood could shift in an instant. Dad's anger was unpredictable. You learned to read the room before you entered it. Check the facial expressions. Listen to the tone of voice. Gauge the danger level. Your survival depended on your ability to sense what was coming. If you could feel Dad's anger building, you could disappear before it exploded. If you could detect Mom's sadness, you could become the comforter and prevent the breakdown. You became a tiny emotional meteorologist, constantly predicting storms. And it worked. Your hypersensitivity kept you safe. Pattern 2, the emotionally shut down home. Or maybe your home was the opposite. Quiet, controlled. Nobody talked about feelings. Everything was fine. But underneath, you could sense the ocean of unspoken pain. So you became the emotional translator, the one who could sense what nobody was saying. You learned to read micro-expressions, to detect the invisible tension, to feel the grief nobody acknowledged. You developed supernatural emotional awareness because the truth was buried. And maybe, just maybe, if you could feel it and name it, someone would finally be honest. Pattern 3, the parentified child. Or perhaps you became Mom's confidant, Dad's therapist, your sibling's caretaker. Adult problems landed on child's shoulders. You were told you were so mature or such an old soul. Translation, you were forced to grow up too fast. You learned that your value came from being useful, from managing emotions, from taking care of people who should have been taking care of you. Now here's the critical insight. In all three scenarios, your sensitivity made perfect sense. It wasn't dysfunction, it was brilliant adaptation. Your nervous system learned, if I can feel it coming, I can control it. If I can manage everyone's emotions, I'll be safe. I'll be loved. I'll matter. And you probably received rewards for this. People praised you. You're so understanding, so compassionate, so giving. But nobody told you the cost. Nobody mentioned that you were training yourself to abandon your own needs. That you were learning to prioritize everyone's emotional state above your own. That you were building an identity around being needed. And here's where it gets really painful. That child who developed hypersensitivity, they never learned that the emergency is over. You're not in that home anymore. You're not that powerless kid who needed to read emotional weather patterns to survive. But your nervous system doesn't know that. So you keep doing it. Automatically. Compulsively. You unconsciously choose partners who need fixing. Friends who require constant emotional labor. Jobs where you're the office therapist. You recreate the same dynamics over and over because, and this is hard to hear, familiar dysfunction feels like home. The chaos feels normal. Being needed feels like love. Sacrificing yourself feels like purpose. But it's killing you. And at some point, maybe right now, something inside you starts screaming, I can't do this anymore. Let me describe what that moment feels like. There's a specific moment when the sponge can't absorb anymore. When you're so saturated with everyone else's pain that one more drop will make you disintegrate. Maybe it looks like this. You wake up exhausted even though you slept. Your body aches for no medical reason. You get a text from that friend, you know the one, and your stomach drops. The thought of answering feels like climbing a mountain. Or maybe you're in the middle of listening to someone vent, nodding sympathetically, and suddenly you realize, I have no idea what I actually feel right now. I don't even know what my problems are because I'm too busy carrying everyone else's. The breaking point isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the moment you realize, I don't even recognize myself anymore. When did you become this person who has no boundaries? Who says yes to everything? Who feels guilty for having needs? Who apologizes for existing? And then come the forbidden feelings. Resentment. You start resenting the people you've been serving. The friend who only calls when they need something. The family member who drains you dry. The partner who treats you like a free therapist. Anger. Real, hot, righteous anger. At them for taking. At yourself for giving. At the whole damn system that taught you your value was in your usefulness. And shame. Because good people don't feel this way. Right? Good people are patient. Understanding. Selfless. But here's what's actually happening. Your authentic self is waking up. And it's pissed. That anger, that resentment, that's not dysfunction. That's your soul fighting for survival. It's the part of you that never got to be young, or selfish, or free, finally screaming, what about me? And once you hear that voice, everything shifts. Suddenly you see the pattern everywhere. In every relationship, every interaction, every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you contort yourself to accommodate someone else's comfort. You see the architecture of your entire life, and it's built on your self-abandonment. The question becomes, can I keep doing this, or do I choose differently? But here's what makes this moment so terrifying. Choosing differently means facing the truth about your relationships. And that truth is uncomfortable as hell. Let's do an exercise. I want you to think about the 5 people you interact with most regularly. Got them? Now ask yourself, when was the last time they asked about you? Without you having to bring it up. When was the last time they checked in on your well-being? Notice you were struggling, showed up for you the way you show up for them. If you're struggling to remember, that's your answer. Welcome to the uncomfortable truth. Most of your relationships are built on extraction, not reciprocity. You have emotional vampires in your life. People who only call when they need something. Who dump their problems on you and disappear when you need support. Who take your empathy for granted. And here's the part that's going to sting. You've been enabling them. I know that's hard to hear. You're the helper, the good one. How could you be enabling dysfunction? But every time you rescue someone from the consequences of their choices, you prevent them from growing. Every time you absorb their emotional chaos, you allow them to avoid doing their own emotional work. You're not helping them. You're helping them stay helpless. Because if they learn to manage their own emotions, they won't need you anymore. And somewhere deep down, that terrifies you. Think about it. Who are you if you are not the helper? That's the hidden contract you've been living under. I'll be your emotional support system, and in exchange, I'll matter. I'll be needed. I'll have purpose. But being needed is not the same as being loved. Real love, authentic love, sees you fully, cares about your well-being, respects your boundaries, shows up reciprocally. Real love doesn't require your depletion to exist. So let's sort your relationships right now. Category 1, the vampires. They only show up when they need something. Conversations are one-sided. Your boundaries offend them. When you're struggling, they are nowhere to be found. Category 2, the unconscious users. They are not malicious, but they've gotten comfortable with you over-functioning. They've never had to consider your needs because you never express them. Category 3, the reciprocal. These are rare, but they exist. They ask about you. They respect your no. They show up for you. They can handle your humanity. Here's what you need to understand. When you start setting boundaries, Category 1 will leave. And that's a blessing, even though it hurts. Category 2 will be confused. Some will adjust. Some will guilt trip you. Some will reveal themselves as Category 1 in disguise. Category 3 will celebrate your boundaries. Because healthy people want you to take care of yourself. And I know what you're thinking right now. But what about the guilt? Yeah, let's talk about that. The first time you set a boundary, it will feel like the worst thing you've ever done. Your brain will scream, "You're abandoning them. You're selfish. You're a terrible person." The guilt will be physical. Nausea, chest tightness, the overwhelming urge to take it back, apologize, explain, over-explain. But here's what's really happening. Guilt is your control mechanism malfunctioning. You were conditioned, probably in childhood, to believe that your needs are selfish and other people's needs are legitimate. Guilt kept you compliant. Guilt kept you giving. Guilt kept you small. And now that you're trying to grow, that guilt is fighting for its life. Let me be crystal clear. Guilt is not your moral compass. It's your trauma response. Real morality asks, is this choice harmful? Setting a boundary is not harmful. Protecting your energy is not harmful. Saying no is not harmful. What's actually harmful is continuing to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. But knowing this intellectually doesn't make the guilt disappear. So how do you navigate it? Step 1, expect the guilt. Name it. There's the guilt. Right on schedule. This is my old programming trying to keep me trapped. Step 2, sit with it. Don't act on it. The urge to take back your boundary will be intense. Don't. Feel the discomfort. Breathe through it. It will pass. Step 3, remember what you're actually doing. You're not abandoning anyone. You're teaching people how to treat you. You're modeling healthy behavior. You're reclaiming your life. Now, let's talk about the backlash. Because when you stop over-functioning, people will react. Some will try manipulation. I thought you cared about me. You've changed. You're not the person I knew. Correct response. You're right. I have changed. I'm learning to take care of myself. Some will try guilt tripping. I guess I'll just deal with this alone. Clearly, I can't count on you. Correct response. I care about you, but I'm not available for this right now. Some will try love bombing, suddenly paying attention to you, being extra nice, promising change. Watch their behavior, not their words. Does the change stick, or do they revert once you let your guard down? And here's the painful truth. You will lose relationships. Some people will exit your life, and it will hurt. But every relationship you lose that was built on your self-abandonment makes room for relationships built on authentic connection. Now let's talk about the anger. If you're feeling angry right now, at the people who've taken advantage, at the years you've lost, at yourself for allowing it, good. Anger is your authentic self waking up. Anger says, this isn't okay. I deserve better. I should have protected myself. Don't suppress it. Channel it. Use that anger to fuel your boundaries, to power your no, to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. The anger will eventually transform into something else, self-respect. But you can't just burn it all down and hope for the best. You need a new framework, a new way of being sensitive that doesn't destroy you. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's the framework that changes everything. Stop being a sponge. Become a lighthouse. A sponge absorbs everything until it's waterlogged and useless. A lighthouse stands firm in the storm, providing light without drowning in the waves. You can be compassionate without being consumed. You can be aware without absorbing. You can care without carrying. This is called conscious sensitivity. Let me break it down. Conscious sensitivity principle number 1. Learn to ask, is this mine? When you feel a wave of emotion, pause. Ask, is this my anxiety, or did I just absorb someone else's? Most of the time, you will realize it's not yours. Then practice this visualization. Imagine the emotion has a color. See it lifting off your body and returning to where it came from. You witnessed it. You don't have to carry it. Conscious sensitivity principle number 2. You can witness without rescuing. Someone shares their problem. Your old pattern, immediately try to fix it. New pattern, that sounds really difficult. What do you think you'll do? You're present. You're compassionate. But you're not taking responsibility for solving it. Because a problem is not your problem. Let me say that again. Their problem is not your problem. Your job is not to fix people. Your job is to live your own life and let them live theirs. Conscious sensitivity principle number 3. Protect your energy like it's sacred. Because it is. Practical boundaries you need. I'm not available for phone calls after 8 p.m. I can't take on any more emotional labor right now. I need advance notice for plans. I don't do spontaneous anymore. I'm limiting social media to protect my mental health. I need time alone to recharge. That's not personal. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You simply state your boundary and hold it. Conscious sensitivity principle number 4. Build recovery time into your life. If you spend time with people, you need time alone. Non-negotiable. Morning routine. Before you check messages or engage with anyone, spend 30 minutes with yourself. Journal. Meditate. Move your body. Whatever fills your cup first. Evening routine. Wind down without screens. Process your day. Release what isn't yours. Weekly solitude. At least one chunk of time where you're completely unavailable. No texts. No calls. No people. Your nervous system needs this. Conscious sensitivity principle number 5. Practice the loving no. No is a complete sentence. But if you want to soften it, I care about you, but I can't right now. That's it. No elaborate explanation. No apology. No guilt. Their disappointment is not your emergency. I know this feels radical. Maybe even impossible. You're thinking, but what if people get mad? What if they leave? What if I hurt them? Here's the truth. Healthy people respect boundaries. Unhealthy people are offended by them. Let that be your sorting mechanism. And as you practice this, as you learn to be sensitive without being porous, something miraculous happens. You discover who you actually are beneath the helper mask. Let me show you what that looks like. Welcome to sovereign sensitivity, where you're both open-hearted and fiercely boundaried. This is the integration, the both and, the version of you that's fully alive. Sovereign sensitivity means you feel deeply, but you don't absorb unconsciously. You can be in a room full of chaos and remain centered. You can listen to someone's pain without it becoming yours. You witness. You hold space. But you don't carry what isn't yours. You care about people, but you're not responsible for their emotional well-being. Their healing is their journey. You can support. You can encourage. But you can't and won't do it for them. You're selective about who gets access to your energy. Not everyone deserves your depth. Not everyone has earned your vulnerability. And that's not cold. That's wise. Your sensitivity becomes a gift you give consciously, not a wound everyone gets to touch. And as you step into this version of yourself, you start discovering things. You have preferences, actual preferences. You like certain things and dislike others, not based on what others want, but based on what you want. You have desires, dreams you buried because you were too busy managing everyone else's life. You have needs, real, legitimate, non-negotiable needs, and you stop apologizing for them. You discover who you are when you're not performing empathy. Maybe you're quieter than you thought. Maybe you're louder. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you're analytical. Maybe you're weird in wonderful ways you never allowed yourself to be. This is the you that was buried under the helper mask. And your relationships transform. The vampires leave. Good riddance. The unconscious users either wake up or reveal themselves as vampires. But the reciprocal people, they celebrate your evolution. They say, I love seeing you take care of yourself. They respect your boundaries. They show up for you. And you start attracting new people. People who see you, not just what you can do for them. People who value your whole self, not just your empathy. You discover that you're lovable without being useful. You're valuable just for existing. You don't have to earn your place anymore. This is the life that's waiting for you. Mornings where you wake up with energy because you didn't give it all away yesterday. Relationships where you feel seen, not just needed. Days where you pursue your interests, your goals, your joy. Evenings where you rest easy because you honored yourself. A life where your sensitivity is your superpower, not your curse. Because here's the final truth. The world doesn't need more martyrs sacrificing themselves on the altar of other people's comfort. The world needs more sovereign people who've learned to hold their own light steady. When you stop being the sponge, you become the lighthouse. And lighthouses don't drown in storms. They show others the way home while standing firmly on their own foundation. That's who you're becoming. That's who you've always been underneath the conditioning. The sensitive soul who finally learned. My sensitivity is not a burden to bear. It's a gift to give, consciously, selectively, wisely. And the most radical act of empathy you can perform is this: taking care of yourself, protecting your energy, honoring your needs. Because you matter too. Not just when you're useful, not just when you're helping, not just when you're giving. You matter, period. If this video resonated with you, if you saw yourself in this journey, I want you to do two things. First, leave a comment. Tell me which part hit hardest. Share your experience. You're not alone in this. Second, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is dedicated to helping you break free from patterns that no longer serve you and step into your most authentic, empowered self. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a feature, but it's time to upgrade the software. Time to stop being everyone's emotional sanctuary and become your own. The lighthouse is waiting. It's been waiting for you to come home to yourself. Are you ready? I'll see you in the next one. Now go protect that beautiful, sensitive soul of yours. It's the only one you've got.